The first thing you do after reincarnating as a planet is bring an asteroid to crash into yourself, because you realize you're actually a dead star. No life, no oceans, not even an atmosphere. All you have are countless craters of every size. Your body is trapped by a huge gas giant, locked by tidal forces. You keep circling your mother planet day and night, and far off in the distance, a red star burns violently. That's when you realize this isn't the solar system at all. After observing yourself, you're basically like any other rocky planet. You have a core and geological layers, but the rocky crust on the surface blocks all volcanic activity. It's too quiet, which means there's no chance of forming life. To create life, you remember what you once knew on Earth. Scientists once guessed that life on Earth might have come from asteroid impacts carrying chunks of ice, so you extend your senses and search the surrounding space. After orbiting your mother planet for dozens of rounds, you finally spot 2 asteroids. Each is about 1% your size. But the moment you get there, you realize you can't beat the mother planet. The 2 asteroids are still far away when they're captured by the gas giant. Soon they enter the mother planet's Roche limit and slam into the surface. Then comes a massive explosion. You stare at the blast radius, bigger than your own diameter, and go cold with fear. Your disappointment instantly turns into relief. You also understand that even if more asteroids pass by, they'll definitely be pulled in by that gas giant's massive gravity. There's no way they'd hit you. But not long after, a few meteors attracted by the gas giant's gravity suddenly and effortlessly slam into your surface. The impact throws up stone and dust that blot out the sky. And on your surface, it leaves several huge round craters. You check few fresh stars. You're surprised to find that's actually lucky. Those meteors really were the ice-bearing kind from legend. You watch in excitement as the star's heat slowly melts that ice. It feels like your core is about to start beating. New life might be born on your planet soon. But then, the water keeps evaporating under the star's light. It shrinks until it finally scatters into the empty void of space. The spark of life is gone in an instant. You try to figure out what went wrong. Right, the atmosphere. The atmosphere. Without it, water can't be held in. You carefully recall what your high school teacher taught you. Early in Earth's history, the crust was extremely active. There were massive volcanic eruptions, and the gases released became the early atmosphere. That makes sense, sure. But right now, you're just a cold, rocky world. The crust has already settled. Frustrated, you keep circling the star a few more times. If only you could control your own body. Thinking that, you try to control your planet. Unexpectedly, the once calm crust starts shaking. Then countless cracks appear across the surface. Massive amounts of magma burst out from the fissures. Dust and gas are blasted high into the sky. They gather together into one huge mass. Eventually, all the planet's gases come together and keep thickening as the eruptions continue. You try to control one of the erupting volcanoes, and sure enough, it stops. A mysterious force means you can control everything on your body. You're about to enter the age of a primitive atmosphere. Volcanoes all over the planet show no signs of stopping. They keep blasting out violent lava. All of this massively increases your surface area, making you a little bigger than before. The huge amount of gas released makes the clouds thicker and thicker. They hang high in the sky, slowly shifting from gray-white to darker gray. But you feel that's still not enough. Compared to Earth's atmosphere, you're still way off. So you go all in. More volcanic vents break through the ground. Magma keeps pouring out like it's free. Those black clouds collide and grind together. Terrifying lightning strikes the surface. After a long time, those clouds finally break free of gravity, just as you start weakening volcanic activity. The black clouds covering the red-hot surface begin pouring down rain. You've never seen rain this intense. Every drop feels like it could punch through the ground. It seems like it'll never stop. Even after you've orbited your mother planet over 100 times, it's still going on. The rain cools the magma into thick white steam. That steam rises into the sky and becomes new clouds. And as time goes on, the magma keeps getting cooler. Eventually, it forms a hard black shell. At the same time, like it's just showing up for the drama, a wave of meteors appears. In the outer reaches of space, they turn into a meteor shower and start pounding the surface again. Those impacts leave your surface with even more giant craters. Some of them are even thousands of meters deep. As rain keeps falling onto the surface, it gradually forms streams. Then the streams merge into wider rivers, and floodwaters made of rain make the canyons wider and wider. More water flows into the deeper areas. That's how oceans are formed. The process goes on for a very long time. The storm keeps raging for who knows how many years. When the clouds finally fade to a pale gray, you decide to restart volcanic activity. After all, this much water still isn't enough to create broad oceans. The oceans carve into the giant craters left by impacts, making them wider and deeper. Then you raise part of the surface even higher. That gives the surface 2 extremes. One half is deep pits, constantly filling with rain. The other is relatively high ground. That's your land and ocean. You decide to imitate Earth. You tear apart the surface and create several plates. Then you use plate movement to form deep abyssal trenches and mountain ranges that stretch on and on. Even the once towering landmass is now split into multiple pieces. The layout of land and ocean is basically finished under your control. Volcanoes on land and in the oceans erupt again with full force, making the rainfall even more terrifying. That also fills the deep pits little by little, forming several vast oceans. The volcanic vents in the oceans turn into countless small islands. After who knows how many years, the rain clouds slowly disperse and finally come down. The black clouds gradually become semi-transparent. That thick layer of air they formed is the primitive atmosphere. You look proudly at the land, the oceans, and the atmosphere. You can feel a huge sense of achievement. All of this was formed in a short time under your power. And during all of this, the surface temperature of the planet keeps dropping. From over 1,000 degrees before, after the oceans form, it slowly falls to under 100 degrees. The basics are done. Now all that's left is creating life. With the primitive atmosphere in place, even under the red star's direct light, the planet's surface temperature drops to around 70 degrees. The north and south poles also start to form ice fields. You know it. You now finally have the basic conditions for life. At this point, you can't help but remember a kind of celestial body called a dirty snowball. It's a meteorite carrying a huge mix of ice and snow. In theory, the elements they carry can speed up the birth of anaerobic bacteria. To capture more dirty snowballs, you keep circling your mother planet again and again until a meteorite 50 meters across arrives. After passing through the atmosphere, it slams into the boundary between land and sea. The material that doesn't fully burn up scatters everywhere after a rainstorm that lasts 300 years in a chemical solution of minerals and carbon, carrying amino acids. The first single-celled life is born. Your planetary vision lets you clearly see everything. Countless single-celled organisms slowly appear under your watch. Some are smaller than 1 micron, but they come in all kinds of shapes. These tiny lives swim around happily under your gaze. Some are eating even smaller ones, and some are splitting into new cells. In the ocean, you also find pale green, translucent single-celled organisms. They gather together into little green clusters, floating motionless in shallow water. They look just like tiny seaweed, and the active single-celled organisms feed on them. But soon after, you realize their evolution isn't happening nearly as fast as you expected. Even though you keep orbiting your mother planet, those little things don't seem to change much at all. Not only did they not evolve, they were only found in the area where the meteorites originally struck. After thinking it over, you decide to interfere with these little lives. Otherwise, who knows how long you'd have to wait. Next, you use your power to wrap up dozens of water droplets and move them to nearby seas with similar conditions. That's the safest option. If something happens to the life in the original area, if everything gets wiped out, at least there are backups. You repeat this process many times. Honestly, you don't want to do this either. But your body is just too huge. You can't help wondering if you're even bigger than Earth. Man, this is exhausting. After making thousands of backups, a strong wave of sleep hits you. And then, you fall into a sleep-like state of hibernation. In your mind, it feels like you didn't sleep long at all. But when you wake up, you're stunned. They now have all kinds of shapes and colors, and their size is dozens of times larger than before. The seaweed-like ones have grown much bigger. A single one's diameter has reached nearly a millimeter, and there are tons of them. They almost cover the entire nearshore sea. The active little single-celled organisms have split into two camps. The larger group are green organisms that feed on seaweed. As for the other group, they're little creatures covered in spikes. These guys aren't really the type to sit still. What they love most is chasing the seaweed eaters, stabbing them with their weird mouth parts, and absorbing them as food. Of course, among themselves, they seem to be killing each other too. Even the same species does this. That may be why their numbers are so low. It reminds you of wolves and rabbits on Earth. The carnivore and herbivore factions have now been fully divided. The dozens of backup groups you released before are mostly the same. The only real difference is their appearance. You watch them as an observer, but after a while, even that starts to feel a little boring. Next, you try controlling one of the carnivores. With agile movement, it kills another carnivore twice its size. And just like that, you go wild. You can control yourself and everything on you. It feels like a third-person game. Thrill. You make the little guys run all over the place, throwing the whole ecosystem into chaos. Then you even realize it's not just one creature you can control. After playing for a while, you start thinking again. Why not just control them directly and speed up evolution? After all, these simple single-celled organisms are way too primitive. Who knows how long it would take for them to evolve into intelligent life? You vaguely remember something you once read online. From the first life on Earth to the appearance of humans, it took about 3.5 billion years. You're a planet that doesn't like waiting, so you make a plan. You pick the strongest ones among the reds, then bring along the greens and enough seaweed rations. After safely moving them to a new sea, you start training them. One red usually needs to eat 4 greens before it can split, but the greens are splitting almost all the time. Seaweed reproduces really fast under photosynthesis. The herbivores multiply like crazy thanks to the abundant food, but the reds are prone to cannibalism. That's not good for evolution. Still under your control, all of them are elevated. But soon you notice something is off. Under your control, the reds do gain more attack power, but their appearance doesn't change much. What's more, their sharp mouth parts even start to regress. And on the other hand, in the areas hit by meteorites, the reds grow larger. The greens also change as they reproduce wildly. That reminds you of an Earth story. People killed the wolves to protect the deer, and in the end, the deer headed toward extinction too. When a group loses competitive pressure, everything it has will slowly decay. Clearly, you underestimated evolution. Too much interference only backfires. Luckily, before this, you made plenty of backups. Soon, you begin a new experiment. As if they knew you were creating life. More meteorites keep visiting your surface, until one white meteorite, fully 1/5 your size, comes close. This thing must have been drawn in by your gravity. But if it hits land or ocean, forget life. Everything on the planet will be wiped out. Thinking fast, you try to control your gravity and focus most of it into one point that breaks the original Roche limit. Under your guidance, the white meteorite barely skims past the atmosphere and cuts across your side. Watching it drift away, you suddenly get a feeling. The next second, you pull it back in with gravity. The white meteor, it circles you in a huge ellipse. Its orbit slowly becomes more circular, and its spin gradually slows down. But it still always keeps one face toward you. Its surface is pure white, and its shape is oval. A ring of mountains runs along its equator. From your point of view, it looks like a giant dumpling. From that point on, this planet becomes your moon, and you in turn are the moon of the Green Mother planet. This weird celestial setup is formed just like that, under your control. Only now do you remember what the moon is for. That's right, tidal forces. Water near the moon rises because of tidal gravity. The whole ocean starts to feel alive, but you seem to have forgotten something very important. This huge environmental change is basically a death sentence for single-celled life.